We now want to remain there in the nation's capital, and specifically as we look to what the response may be now on Capitol Hill. To discuss that, Congressman Will Hurd, a Republican from Texas and a member of the House Homeland Security Committee, now joins us live from Washington. Congressman Hurd, we appreciate your time today. First and foremost, with regard to the pledge of allegiance that the shooter, Omar Mateen, is said to have made to ISIS. Do you have any further information with regard to any possible connection between Mateen and the Islamic State?
Right now, that's question number one for our national intelligence organizations to understand. Initial indications reveal that it seems like he was just pledging allegiance, that this was not a ISIS-directed activity. But one of the scary things about ISIS is their ability to inspire people, even if they're 6,000 miles away. And that ability is what we need to counter. You know, countering this Islamic extremism ideology is something that we have to have a whole of government a response to. It's something that we have to work with our Sunni Arab partners on in order to attack that ideology, and then we also need to attack ISIS where they are.
We also know that his father, Sadiq Mateen, was the host of a channel based in California where he expressed some very strong political views, at one point saying that he stood staunchly in support of the Afghan Taliban. He at one point intimated that perhaps he would either be running for the presidency of Afghanistan or in fact was. Do we know as to the relationship between Omar Mateen and his father and what impact that might have had on any radicalization?
That's a very good question, and you know, this is, I hope, one of the 100 investigations that the FBI is doing. I've read the transcripts of the father on one of those shows where he shows support to the Afghan Taliban. The Taliban is a terrorist organization, and espousing those kinds of concerns. And also in that transcript, he talked about arresting a number of individuals, including the former U.S. ambassador to Afghanistan, which is, I think, something that we shouldn't be doing. And so this is one part of the investigation that I hope we get more information about to the public that the FBI is involved in. You know, the reality is that this threat of terrorism is coming from all corners and all walks of life, and we need to be taking the fight to them on their doorstep, whether it's ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Lashkar-e-Taiba, Taliban, Boko Haram. We need to be taking the fight to them, and our enemies need to know that we have the wherewithal in order to do that. And we need to be focusing on those issues here in Congress over the next couple of days, rather than trying to politicize this activity, this event.
And yet he was a man radicalized, driven to do what he did here just over 24 hours ago. Congressman, there's a lot of question today about why a man who'd twice been investigated by the FBI was allowed to purchase handguns and of course the AR-15 that officials do believe he used to perpetrate the deadliest mass shooting in American history. What do you say to those who ask simply, how was that able to happen?
Well, being investigated by the FBI is not a crime. The FBI has been, doing investigations for over 100 years. And one of the things that I think you're going to see happen is after we get through this investigation, you got to remember this is an active investigation. As of 7:30 this morning, there were still 25 families that still hadn't found out that one of their loved ones had died in this horrific terrorist attack. The FBI is looking at over 100 different leads. So this is an active investigation. And they're gleaning every information they possibly can from this individual's home, his car, his phone, his computer, to understand if this was connected to something else, and were there signs that could be used in future investigations. And so this is what they're doing now, but as the investigation starts unwinding, you're going to have the FBI looking at their internal tactics, techniques, and procedures. Was there something that was potentially missed? Was there something that they could have done differently to understand this? And it's really hard to understand a person's intentions in the future, right? And this is why the lone wolf phenomenon is so hard to deal with, is that if they haven't broken the law in the past, how do you know someone's going to break the law in the future? This is a delicate question for law enforcement to answer.
Congressman Hurd, we very much appreciate your time today.
Thank you.